want to share with you emotions. And what we will see, after all, is real emotion. It's an adventure.
As we already know, it must be the one of the most important timepieces in the whole watchmaking.
Well, knowing Vacheron Constantin is going to be something amazing, something historical, something that does the anniversary proud.
It's a big year for Vacheron, and Vacheron has a great legacy to preserve, and so I expect it to be something just absolutely mind-blowing. Honestly, I think it'll be something that'll really set the record straight.
We started this adventure, white paper, from scratch, inventing something new. And it's not only new, it's a real milestone. Then now, may I introduce the three persons I mentioned it before, the three people more than engineers, more than watchmakers, passionate people, Mr. Jean-Luc Perrin, Mike Pintus, and Yannick Pintus.
Thank you. May I ask them also? Because these four people developed this product since the beginning.
The first impression for me is, wow.
Yeah, for me is the impressive maturity of the piece.
I gather that it's very complicated, not only to create all the different complications and keep them working, but also see that they work together.
Ce qui m'a le plus impressionné peut-être, c'est tout le travail autour du calendrier hébraïque que je ne connais pas bien, mais qui a l'air très très complexe.
そうですね、針が31本あって、あれだけそのカレンダーも複雑に入り組んでいるにもかかわらず、視認性が極めて良いというところが一番驚きました。
And I think it's marvelous that there are people who are prepared to commission something like this, and also the people with the ability to conceive it, make it.
Blown away. It's just the most amazing thing I've ever seen. The complexity, the calculated intelligence that went into this piece is just gobstopping.
And I'm just totally astonished at this watch. I mean, you look at it and you think, oh my God, look, this is a sort of a horological fun house. But then the more you look into it, it's a fun house that has mazes and puzzles and all kinds of complications, and sort of it's intimidating in its technical complexity. And so just I'm astonished.
We have to remember one thing: 57 complications. 57 complications on one watch. It's 1 kilogram of emotion.
Among those 57 complications, there are minimum 10 of them that has never been made before.
The level of finishing on a movement which nobody will ever see. You know, there are two dials, so you won't even see the amazing amount of work that went into the finishing of this piece.
That system is great also because you've created another system for reading the calendar, but one that's incredibly functional and respectful, right? Because anyone that's in finance will actually be able to use that. So you're not creating anything superfluous. You're not creating anything that is an embellishment or superficial for the sake of that. You're creating things that are functional, useful, and respectful to the owner, but also to, you know, to journalists and to anyone anyone that loves watches.
This is not a simple overlapping of different functions. As we can see and we can feel that some functions are totally new, organized from very beginning. So this is something which we can see out of the traditional watchmaking, but something new.
C'est une pièce, c'est un chef-d'œuvre, disons, qui est à part. Donc ça aura certainement un très gros impact médiatique et au point de vue des connaissances acquises à l'intérieur de Vacheron Constantin.
When they started the project, Jean-Luc, Yannick and Mike took a decision, which was a very important decision because it's what makes the watch the way it is today. They decided that each known complication, like a perpetual calendar, a world time, a chronograph, should be treated a different way.
It's not just a complicated watch for the sake of being complicated, right? I think it's a watch that tells the entire story of watchmaking with this incredible homage to Anti-Janvier and the tourbillon.
But for me, I love the separate Rattrapant chronograph because it's very purist expression. I am a chrono fan, and when I talk with the watchmaker, I always listen that to fix a new expression for chronograph is very, very complicated.
对我来讲，我觉得最打动我的是那个静音夜间静音模式，因为它是可以设定根据每个人的阅读睡眠习惯，譬如说他现在是说晚上10点到早上8点，可是如果我的睡眠习惯是12点到早上9点，它是可以根据这个 collector 个人来设定。
Complications are amazing, but I think usability, wearability, and readability are something that is always really important to me, and Vacheron pulled it off to a T.
I can't imagine how difficult it must have been to establish a Jewish calendar for a watch, which is much more complicated than the Gregorian perpetual calendar.
I have to say that I was kind of just astonished again by the case, in particular, the secret winding stem for the alarm, where the owner, in order to wind his alarm, has to turn the top of the crown, the bow in the crown, a quarter turn, and it pops out of the watch.
I think we've been toying with this for a while. I think a lot of people have been looking at this, and finally somebody got it. Somebody was able to make it. The Hebraic calendar is very complicated to make for many reasons. And finally, an important brand brought it to life.
All the complications related to the Hebraic calendar have never been done before on a watch, and I don't think they have ever been done on a clock.
I find fascinating is that it's like climbing the Himalayas, except the mountaineer's answer is always, why do you climb Everest? Because it's there. Here they have to imagine what Everest is before they then climb it, in that they've got to think of new barriers, new challenges.
That will be a big impact to kind of, it shifts the crown maybe a little bit.
I focus on the market, and I find a delicious irony in the fact that this watch is appearing in the year of the Apple Watch. I think the impact on the market will be great because it shifts the focus back from a watch, a smartwatch that is not a watch, because in the smartwatch, timekeeping is an afterthought. And this watch will put the focus back on what a watch is and what it does. A watch is a timekeeper, and what it does is measure intervals of time, and it tells time. And to have this shift come this year is a very, very important message, and chapeau to Vacheron Constantin for a very timely message.
然后再来，我觉得这是一个非常 smart， 就是可以取代所谓也不是说取代，就是说现在所谓流行的智慧型手表。可是这个表呢，是真正的，我觉得是一个人性化的智慧，是比市面上的所谓用 IC 啊电子的这样子的智慧型手表可以呈现的是完全不一样的，因为它是可以表现出整个这个机械工艺，还有所有齿轮运转啊，然后这么贴心的一个设计，这是最打动我的。
I hope that this watch will in some ways become a flagship that you extrapolate from and give inspiration to sort of offspring watches that emerge of Vacheron Constantin, and I think that would be wonderful.
There are 10 brand new complications in this watch, complications we've never seen anywhere from any brand. So I expect to see other people paying attention to this in a very real way.
No other watch will give you the possibility to read the date the normal way, the Gregorian way, or the calendar way, and to read the date the ISO way. So again, this is a world premiere.
In my case, I think that it's kind of a closure and it's kind of an opening. It's a closure of maybe the 20th century and that race to the most complicated watch. And it's an opening to maybe new possibilities like Ben mentioned in terms of R&D on what can we bring outside, what can we bring to maybe a wristwatch taken from this huge, enormous, complicated watch.
なんでしょう、クライアントの要望がたくさんあったと思うんですけども、実用性を加味しているというのが今までの超複雑時計になかった要素だというふうに思っています。それに感銘を受けました。
In the 21st century, that there is still a desire for this kind of object that is at once both kind of irrelevant and, to my way of thinking, utterly necessary as a piece of civilized technical craft, artistic activity.
Tell the story of Vacheron for the future as well. After being introduced to this watch, I will never be able to look at watches again in the same way. So congratulations.